yeah, I'm back or something. Tennocon is over, and Ember doesn't just have a cool skin now, but also got much needed fixes with Jade Shadows. So I might as well make a video on her. Not a build channel, by the way. But I've had way too much fun with the new Embers, so might as well share the fun with you guys. Her passive gives 5% ability strength for each enemy affected by a heat status with no stack cap. Means if we have 22 enemies running around, all affected by heat, we'll get 110% additional ability strength. And the source of the heat proc also does not matter. It can be procced by yourself, companions, or allies. Fireball throws a fireball. I know, it's almost as crazy as max pull ability. Just kidding, it sucks. Put Roar over it for a general damage increase, which also perfectly synergizes with her passive. Immolation gives you this cool slopometer on the side of your screen, which indicates your heat generation. The more heat you build up, the higher your damage reduction will be, up to a maximum of 90%. Immolation generates 0.5% heat per second on its own, but you can fasten up the process by using your other abilities. Each cast of Inferno increases the heat generation by 3% per second. Fire Blast will do the opposite and give us a decrease of 2% per second with each cast. Speaking of Fire Blast, it will knock down enemies and give them a heat proc. On top of that, it lowers their armor. When you have a full Immolation meter built up, Fire Blast will full strip on cast. But it will also lower your Immolation meter by 50%. Inferno shoots comets from the sky, which hits every enemy in line of sight and applies a guaranteed heat proc on top of it. Noteworthy here is that it drains 10 energy relative to how many enemies are affected by Inferno. That means if no enemies are in line of sight, we can freely cast Inferno to build up heat for our Immolation meter. Time for modding. Umbral Intensify and Transient Fortitude will lead us to 199% ability strength. We can increase it further with Growing Power to 224%. Now don't forget that her passive will give us additional ability strength. With 16 enemies affected by heat, we get an additional 80% ability strength, which is already giving us 300%, which we can use for a high roar cast. I use Flow for a higher energy max. Remember that Immolation and Inferno can cost a lot of energy. To secure this, I added Streamline for efficiency and Exothermic, the Inferno augment that gives us a 15% chance for an energy orb per kill for every enemy affected by Inferno. Augur Reach for a higher range as well as shield replenishment. That way we can have a 32 meter radius on Inferno and can hit enough enemies to increase our ability strength thanks to Ember's passive. Archon Vitality will help us tank a little bit, I guess. But more importantly, we want the additional heat procs from our abilities. And finally, I added Rolling Guard for additional IV frames. For the Arcanes, I went with Mold Augmented and Arcane Velocity. Mold Augmented will give us another 60% ability strength, and Velocity will give us a higher fire rate on our secondaries on crit. For the Archon shards, I run all Tau, 2 red for duration, 1 yellow for casting speed, 1 yellow for energy orb efficiency, and an orange one for secondary crit chance on heat procs. Since Ember's kit is all around heat, I really recommend you running a secondary beam weapon that can chain. Best case scenario, you have the Atomos Incarnate. Throw a rank 5 Cascadia Flare on it and you'll have 480% damage for the entire run. That's because Cascadia Flare just doesn't care where the heat status comes from. This means we can cast Inferno once and it will keep on refreshing itself until Inferno is wiped off of the enemy. I built my Atomos for viral heat with Galvanized Shot, even though the Atomos Incarnate has additive gun CO. But what can I say, I just don't care, man. In Incarnate form, we will have Heat, Blast, and Viral going on, maxing out our 3 stacks for Galvanized Shot. Seeker will allow us to have more Beam Chains, which increases our general DPS, crit chance, crit damage, and a Riven with more crit chance as well as multi-shot. He would never do a live commentary, man. Well, actually, I am. Alright, I'm gonna show her gameplay, some of her gameplay loop, and some tips. Listen and learn, I guess. So, when we start the mission, cast Immolation, cast Inferno, spam the heck out of it, because we want to fill up our Immolation meter to get damage reduction. When we've done that, we can charge up Cascadia Flare. And you're done already. Get your first energy orb, cast Roar, cast Inferno, I mean. And there you go. SxccMxt getting the names of abilities wrong in part 5000. So yeah, and now you just run around and kill shit, I guess. One thing I might want to say off the bat, Inferno can be a little tricky to cast if we're in scenarios like this where enemies are in front of us and behind us. In that case, we can just cast Fire Blast and get a high roar cast out. Don't forget to cast Inferno, because Inferno will give you energy, a lot of energy. One more thing to mention is Heat Inherit, actually. So if you don't know what Heat Inherit is, oh, there's one enemy, perfect. Look at this. Oops, he's dead. So basically, we're applying heat procs with the Atomos on our enemies. And the next ability, or gun, or whatever, that hits heat on an enemy will inherit the previously set status effect and will take over its damage. That's the short explanation. If you want an actual genuine, like, smart brain explanation, then I can link you a video right here. And I'm sorry that I don't know who made it. Holy shit. I'll link the video. I'll also put it in the description. Oh, look at this bitch. Let me get some... There you go, 100% roar, good enough. So when he spawns, you just armor strip him and kill him with the Atomos Incarnate. Oops. And that's about it, really. Sorry if this video wasn't too crazy editing-wise, like the Mag video. This was requested on stream, and I provided my slop. If you still enjoyed it, I don't know, subscribe, I guess? I don't know, man. Thank you all for the almost 3,000 subs. Jesus fucking Christ. Much love, y'all.